Hey guys, it's Patrick and Kyle. Today we're ranking the Ghost albums.
Yep, we're going to be discussing the Swedish hard rock band Ghost and ranking their 6 full-length albums from worst to best. I've always had a love-hate relationship with Ghost through the last 15 or so years, but Patrick's been a big fan for the last couple years now. I've spent a lot more time with them, and they've definitely grown on me big time. And the ranking of these albums, is it kind of obvious? Is it hot takes? I guess you're going to have to wait and see, but as always, sincere and from the heart and what we think. So, number 6,
Number 6 is
Infest Issimum, the second album from 2013. So, Ghosts were a success right from the debut album, and they signed to a major label here. And I remember my first thoughts upon hearing this was, wow, they really blew that one. Because it's not just us saying this is the worst album. I think the majority of Ghost fans would probably agree with us. And I think the album just doesn't rock and forgettable. It just kind of glazes over me. However, how wrong I would be, because they've only increased their success since this album. If I had to pick a couple songs, though, that I quite like, I would say the final two, Depth of Satan's Eyes and the closer, Monstrous Clock. I also think Secular Haze is okay.
yeah. This is probably pretty obvious, but I like Year Zero and Monstrous Clock.
Yeah, Year Zero, I never really was into that song. And this album does remind me of the one and only time that I saw Ghost live. That was opening for Iron Maiden almost 10 years ago. And change the subject, but Ghost are touring for Skeletor right now, and I don't think it'll be very long until a Toronto date is announced. And when that time comes, we will be there 100%, providing it doesn't sell out or something crazy. So, what's our number 5?
Number 5 is Skeletor.
You know what? This is mostly Patrick's ranking. I kind of disagree here. I think this new album is really good, and I might even put this a couple notches higher. But I just find it really consistent with no skips whatsoever. But again, this is the most recent album from 2025. Always remember buying this because we bought that on the one day in between the two Metallica shows that we went to, when I got this bootleg Metallica parking lot t-shirt, like I always do. And my favorite song on here is definitely the opener, Peacefield. But we can keep going. Lacrima. Satan Eyes actually is the one song I'm not crazy about. Guiding Lights is okay, but strong after that. Miscela Mori, another highlight. But my second favorite song besides Peacefield, I gotta go with Umbra. I love the riff. Although I gotta say that opening, that cowbell and the riff, kind of seems like a rip off of Misdemeanor by Kim Mitchell. But I also like the end when there's just like a dueling like organ and guitar solo. It's just an awesome song. What's your two favorite songs from the newest album?
Yeah, Peacefield's pretty good. My favorite song is Lacrima. I like Miss Amoria and Mark's Idea one, and Umbra's pretty good too.
Yeah, Lacrima. What an awesome song. But even still, I don't think that's in my top 3. So, great album.
Yeah, I think it would be better if it just stays as heavy as it was at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's also no like interlude track on here, which I think helps the flow of the album and just really concise. All right.
Okay, our number 4 is
Opus Eponymous, the debut album from 2010, put out on Rise Above Records. And through the years, this album has kind of declined on my ranking because metal is my first love. The most metal album you would think would be my favorite, but I don't know. It does indeed have that King Diamond, Merciful Fate riffing style through several of these songs, which is obviously amazing. But here's the thing: you got Ritual, Elizabeth, Stand By Him, Satan Prayer. Those songs in a row are all amazing. But then the last three tracks, I think there's a real noticeable difference, and I'm almost inclined to um, turn it off early, even though all the songs are okay on their own. Just very front loaded. What are your favorite songs?
Yeah, I basically like all the same songs as Daddy.
I remember when the first Ghost Town came. It took me several months to get around to listening to it, but I was listening to like Sirius Radio, like the metal channel, and I heard Ritual, and I was like, you know what? I keep hearing about these ghost guys, and I got to admit, not bad, not bad at all. Still a career highlight. Um, and you actually hear people now, like back in the day, people would say they sound like Blue Oyster Cult meets Merciful Fate or King Diamond, and people are saying now that that was always inaccurate, but I still think that's true. I think that is a perfect um, summation of this album. But yeah, best tracks, Ritual, Elizabeth, obvious picks, but the truth.
Yeah, and also didn't Ghost, and also didn't like people these days say Ghost sounds like Scooby Doo chase music.
I guess they have a couple songs like that one
Yeah.
from Right Here, Right Now. That what was that song called? Like Stranger in a Strange Land or something?
Maybe.
I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's our number 3?
Our number 3 is Prequel.
Prequel, the fourth album from 2018. And we were first talking about our ranking. I had this much lower on the list, but Patrick kept telling me I got to listen to it. And we kept putting it on. And I agree. This album rules. So you got the brief intro, Ashes, which I don't think really adds to the album, to be honest with you. Proceeding into one of their biggest hits, Rats. What are your favorite songs on here?
Yeah, I like a bunch of songs. I like Rats. I think my favorite song here is Faith.
Yeah, Faith. That is for talking about like a hard rock band, not really a metal band. That is one headbanging riff for Faith.
Yeah. See the Light's okay. I like Miasma. Death Macabre's pretty good, and I also like Life Internal.
Yeah, it's like Dance Macabre. At first, I was like, this song is way too normy, but just as the more I listen, the more it's just a solid rock song, no matter how you slice it. Witch Image, I think that's kind of a weaker one. Miasma, love it. But the song that was a real sleeper for me, first several times it made no impression on me, but Life Eternal. That song does, who knows exactly what it's about. You could say it's about a lot of things, but just one day that song got its hooks in my soul, and I think that's a beautiful track, and probably my favorite on here.
Personally, I think the chorus of Witch Image kind of sounds like Square Hammer a bit.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. Right on. Okay, number 2. Meliora from 2015, the third album. I remember this actually came out the first fall that you were born. I always make that equation. And I remember I saw like late night on TV flipping through the channels because I don't really watch those late night shows, but Ghosts were performing Cerise live on, I think it was Colbert, and I just thought it was kind of a cool thing because it was Halloween night actually. And a lot of fans will tell you this is their best album. I think that's probably the popular consensus, but I can't blame them. This album is pretty much perfect. There's songs I like more than others, but no fat on it. My favorite tracks are probably the aforementioned Cerise, From the Pinnacle to the Pit, and Mummy Dust.
My favorite songs are, I think Spirit's pretty good. I like Pinnacle to Pit. I think one of my favorite Ghost songs is Series.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't deny it. One of the most popular, but one of the best.
He is okay. And I like Absolution.
Yep, you're a big Absolution fan. I could kind of take or leave that song, but again, great rock album, no matter how you look at it. But to us, number one, I don't think it's even close. This album smokes everything else in the Ghost catalog.
Emperor.
Impera from 2022, the 5th album. So let's get this right out of the way. There's one song on here that does make it a less than perfect album, 20s. But the more I listen to it, the more I find it acceptable. It's like, if it wasn't for the annoying background vocal and the fact that he says the word moolah, I would almost like be halfway okay with this song. And I think the swearing, it just doesn't fit. It's kind of goofy. But just starting right from the beginning of the album, Imperium, the short, epic, Iron Maiden-ish intro, and at the end of the album, at the end of Respite on the Spittle Fields, just how they wrap around that intro, just every time, that gives me the feels, and it's just like the perfect way to cap off the album. But we're just getting started here. Kazarian, it's a little happy for me, but pretty catchy too. Spillways, I believe that might be your favorite song on this album.
No, it's Watcher in the Sky.
Watcher in the Sky. Yep, that's maybe my favorite song on this album too. Again, we're picking some big songs, but just you can't argue. These songs rule. And Call Me Little Sunshine, Hunter's Moon. Those songs kind of remind me of each other, but they're both great. Leading into Watcher in the Sky, quite the streak we're on here. So then you got Dominion and 20s. We already talked about that. Darkness at the Heart of My Love. Love it. How do you feel about that one?
I think it's pretty good, but I think it's a bit too soft.
Bit too soft. Okay, that's fine. Griftwood. You know what? If that song was a single, I think that would be like the biggest Ghost song of them all. It is different for Ghosts, but I think that is like the most like accessible thing they've ever put out. But I mean that in a good way. I'd love to hear more songs in that key. And we already talked about Respite on the, I always forget how to say that, Spital Fields. Just wraps up the album perfectly.
Yeah, I almost like every song here. I think
Imperium
is my favorite intro, probably.
Of like any album?
Yeah.
Nice, okay. I can respect that, yeah.
Kaiserian's pretty good. I like Spillways, Come Little Sunshine. Hunter's Moon was actually in Halloween Tree.
You know what? I remember when Mom and I saw that movie, I believe it was Halloween Kills, in the theater. They played that during the credits, and it was my first time hearing it, but it took me about 30 seconds to be like, yeah, that's definitely a new Ghost song.
Yeah, my favorite Ghost song is Watcher in the Sky.
Yep, one of the most metal ones. What I love about it.
20's okay, but it's just kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And I like Griftwood, and the last song's good.
Yep. All right, so in our opinion, Impera is by far the best Ghost album. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.